Hi there, this is Drew Moore, Research 6033. As far as research design for the dissertation, the model I'm going to use is ethnographical research. Um, so, just to review, my topic is randomized drug testing, the effects on student athlete drug use. I'm going to go through some of these reasons, and as I go through the presentation, I'm not going to hit on every single point, but I want to highlight some reasoning here. So, this design actually utilizes data analysis focused on specific behavior within a culture. For example, drug testing in this culture within this school district has been going on for over 20 years in the largest school district in the state of Ohio. So the qualitative piece, it works to create understanding of the feelings of the members within the culture. That's what ethnography does. So the student body feelings, I'm trying to get their thoughts on the effects of student athlete, on why they are affected by student athlete drug use. And that will be done via survey. So the researcher will not only analyze the data through the survey, but myself as a researcher actually lives within the district. And that's, I've been here for over 5 years, which brings me to my next point. So the study itself, usually ethnography is going to take some time for the researcher to mesh within the culture and to formulate some personal understanding before they analyze the data. So 5 years, I feel like that qualifies me to do that. The next piece is going to focus on just the history of ethnography. So participant observation, this was a big point, was traced back to as early as 1914 by Malinowski. He was the first one to use data, tables, charts, organization pieces to organize specific pieces of data. The use of a questionnaire, which is what I'm going to focus in on with my survey, was first embarked upon in the early 1800s. Ethnographical researchers would potentially reside in a community for 2 to 3 years. As stated, I've been within this district for this will be going into my 6th year as an educator. And then in 1981, the new paradigm for utilizing self and observational views to analyze the data was conveyed. So that's where the whole observation aspect took place. Some unique characteristics. So ethnography can be conducted by one person. I feel like that's a unique thing. A lot of times there might be some finances, expenses, things that go into some of this research. This can actually be done by one person. That's why I'm intrigued by it. The role of the researcher is recognized by the participants. So I'm heavily involved in strength and conditioning. I work for a major university in Central Ohio while still being employed by the district through the strength and conditioning program. So I train these student athletes, and they are all they're all fair game for randomized drug testing. Ethnographical research can occur at any setting. A specific area is not it's not necessary. And then data is typically collected only after the researcher has become acclimated with the society. So I feel like these are unique things that bring a little more value to ethnography in general. Some specific researchers. So Bartok was one of the first researchers to study music. They actually used the name of ethnography, ethnomusicology. I feel like hopefully I'm saying that correctly. As far as the study of folk music, Marino was an Argentinian. He was famous for his expeditions scientifically. And he actually discovered Patagonia. I just found that out today. He actually utilized surveys on archaeological, anthropological data. And then Bastian was pretty interesting because he was part of the study implementation as far as anthropology. So the studies focus on a combination of not only location, but the history. So he kind of put those together in order to get his data analysis. So implementation steps as far as my personal dissertation. So what I found from research, there's 3 modes of implementing ethnographical research. One is observation, the next is interviewing, and then archived data, which is really my big focus here because I'm going to use 10 years of data. So as far as observation, I've been located within the research setting for over 5 years, which I explained earlier. Interviewing, I've spoken to multiple administrators, student athletes, and the drug testing administrative services that actually take care of this specific randomized testing for the district. I've spoken to all of them, and there's clearly still time left before the survey actually takes place. The archive data that I'm using makes this a mixed methods research project. So the archive research, as far as the 10 years of archive data from '07 to 2016 within the district, that's a quantitative piece to this. But also, as from a qualitative standpoint, the survey along with the archive data, I feel like this is going to answer my research questions. So number one, I'm going to identify the research question. So will randomized drug testing increase or decrease student-athlete drug use? Okay, so pretty simple. So I recognize that. Then I selected the research setting. So the Central Ohio School District, there's over 6,000 total students. There's over 3,200 student athletes to utilize for survey purposes. Acquiring access to conduct the implementations procedures here. So I've received permission from district administration. I've talked to the superintendent's office. I've talked to the athletic directors of the 3 high schools. I may need to send a permission slip home with each student athlete for parental consent. I'm still speaking with the athletic department on how that's going to work. Presenting oneself. So again, I've already presented to the district administration, the athletic directors. I've known them for over 5 years. But I also need a plan to speak with each of the student athletes so they know exactly what is going on before the qualitative procedure goes into play, before the survey comes upon them. So gathering information, a questionnaire will be created in order to acquire the overall thoughts and feelings of the student athlete toward drug testing procedures. So this is still in the works, those specific questions, and I haven't really decided if I'm going to utilize paper, if I'm going to utilize the online learning program that we use called Schoology within the district. I think that'd be an easy way to finalize the implementation here. So potential problems. I added this. So reactivity, reliability, and validity. So these all have to be considered. As far as reactivity, the student athletes within the district, they cannot be swayed in any way to answer the questions. I'm never going to really truly know that, but I don't want them to answer in a specific way because of my presence as a researcher. So I'm present in one of the high schools. I'm not present in the other 2. So those athletes will not know who I am ahead of time. Reliability. So the observations of drug testing procedures, the feelings of the student athletes, all kinds of different aspects here. They must be looked upon from different perspectives. So I feel like speaking to athletic departments, administration, student athletes, just with those observations, I have to remain indifferent in order to get different perspectives. Validity. So data and results should be looked upon by the district administration and athletic department after the study is conducted to ensure that credibility is a part of this. Some interesting facts, okay, to finalize this. So in a variety of ways, all lengthy decision making involves the use of ethnography. So like day-to-day activities, just basic decision making process. If anybody puts any time into this, I feel like, ethnographical research, you actually do that day to day. This one's interesting. So missionaries in their work with other cultures created kind of the early framework for the methodology and the length of time to develop, what we know as observational activity. So it kind of came from them. And then society has experienced the idea of culture and not biological DNA. So the idea of culture and not so much a person's DNA is responsible for how they develop into an adult. That's always an argument, but this concept was actually formulated by a famous ethnographer, which was Ruth Benedict. And you can see here are my references, okay, throughout and I tried not to cut it off with my face here. I've got a couple pages of these. So honestly, I'm really, really excited about this research study and working this into the dissertation project or process. So ethnographical research is kind of what I'm shooting for. So hopefully I can get some guidance off of that. And hopefully that adds some value to not only the class, but myself for this project and researchers in the future. Thank you very much. Take care.